Oh, okay, so hello everyone. My name is Jason, and I'm coming in today to give a daily dose of hope. So I am a channeler, and so what I usually do for this daily dose of hope, which is day 87, I think we're at, are we 88? We're day 88. So what I usually do with this is I talk about something that's kind of rumbling around in the back of my head, and we do a channeling, and then we do a pocket of peace, which is a guided meditation. um, and the reason I'm coming on to do this is my guides guided me to do so. They said if I was so inclined, I could come on every day and give a daily dose of hope, as the energies on our planet are starting to pick up, and things are starting to get wacky. Things are starting to get strange, as the third dimension is kind of shifting. And so, as they said, all the things that are not built on love will start to fall, as you are witnessing in the news and the media. Um, and so, today, the topic I'd like to talk about is, well, hope. So, I want to talk about feeling stuck. So, last night in the membership, in this membership, yeah, we have a membership group called Lightworker, and it's just we meet twice a month, and we do live Q&A channelings. And so in last night's session, we were talking about feeling in limbo. Oh, hey, Michael. Speaking of last night's session, um, but we were all talking about feeling like we're in limbo, like we don't know what we're supposed to do. We know that something's happening, that of course, like the world is getting wackier and wackier, and but it's really hard to understand what's happening. Like, what do we do next? What do we do now? Like, how, what do we start? What do we, it's hard to plan in the future if you don't know if there's going to be a future that's going to be similar to the future that there is now, right? And I mean, I find this too for the longest time planning like concerts. So I do perform like sometimes on piano and guitar. I do concerts and stuff. But recently, like when people ask me to perform, I'm like, I don't know, that at that late date, I who knows how the world's gonna be. But recently, I just kind of, like, oh, okay, who knows? We'll see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it happens, it happens. But in that same sense, there's not the same kind of what's the word, drive to do it. And that's another part of it, and that's what we were talking about last night, is that drive, like, yes, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to, for example, so one of the examples, go back to school and learn this new trade or learn this new thing and get a good job and do all this stuff. And those ideas are very kind of like third dimensional ideas, like kind of like we don't know where this world is shifting. And even for example, all of the big institutions, who knows what institutions will be remaining. The institutions that are not built on love will not remain, and they will all change. And so it's hard to plan, like, what do you do, right? Like, oh well. So and the answer that I'm getting, of course, is always follow your heart and follow your guidance. And that's the world that we're kind of jumping into now. In previous times, like when I was growing up, like in the 80s, and I'm sure before that the 70s, and you chose something to do. I'm going to do this with my life, and the way to do that is you step by step, you do this, and then you do this, and you do that, and then you get here. But we're entering a more multidimensional way of looking at things. And so those steps are not there anymore in that way. It's more of manifestation in that sense. And not to say that that is exactly how it is now. I mean, because we are in a transition period. So it's like everything is still the way it is, right? All the institutions are there, but they're slowly changing. And I've heard so about, for example, the universities here in Japan. Like I unfortunately heard that they are running on fumes. They don't really have much of a future, and they're kind of they're propped up, yeah, running on fumes basically. And a lot of institutions are in that situation where they're not publicly stating what's actually happening behind the scenes, but they're actually running on fumes. And they're like, how are we going to continue this business? It's not working. It doesn't fit with this new paradigm. After the 3 years of craziness, a lot of people lost their hope and lost their interest in everything. Well, in a sense, they were awakened to see what was really important for them. And so they were kind of shaken. A lot of people were shaken up, and people were shaken up before that. I know for me with 9/11, that woke me up for a period of time. But when I would research it, and there were so many things at that time that was so it was so right in your face because they weren't hiding anything. There wasn't as much censorship at that time, and so even like the New York Times was, you could read all of the stuff, and I was printing it out and I was showing people, and people around me were like, "Why so focused on this? Why don't you just focus on your life?" And I thought, but this is the biggest thing that's happened, and it's can't you see? And but I started researching, and I got sad because there was nothing was really happening about it, and it opened my eyes, but it was like, but what's happening? So I kind of shut that down for a while. But that seed was planted, and then this a lot of things happened in the past few years, and which gave me a lot of hope. Like, oh, these things are starting to shift and change. It's like nice to see that. And so, yeah, but that's what we're at. We're in this slow transition period. And if you kind of are aware of what's happening, it's it feels like it's like, come on, I want this to hurry up. I want this to speed up. And you feel like you're in limbo. You feel like you're stuck, and you're in this, it's a transition period. So I wanted to talk about that in that sense that, first of all, it's a really important time to follow your guidance. It's a really important time to really connect with your heart, to follow, because the society is not going to tell you. The roadmaps have changed, and the only maps that really work these days are the ones that are your heart map. That's the one that will guide you. And so it's a really important time to follow that because the information out there is just crazy. It's just wacky. But if you listen to your heart, you can see beyond that. You can see the peace that is around everything, and how wonderful everything truly is if you look beyond it. But it definitely is a transition period, and I think for me, I grew up in a time of before the internet and before uh, cell phones and all of that sort of stuff, and so I know of a time where there was much more time, where things weren't so constricted and polarized. It was a more relaxed time, and so I know that time, and I can call up those feelings whenever I feel too constricted. But I think about the young people now, the people that are in their uh, maybe in their 20s and in their teens. Uh, they went through the craziest time in our history, and that's all they know. That's all they know. And so, just to imagine how insane that must be, but to understand that they chose to be born in that time, and they must be super advanced to have come in this time. Um, but so imagining them, for example, if they kind of understand that the universities, for example, like before it was that you go to the university and you study this and then you get this job and then but those they kind of are seeing that it doesn't really work that way anymore, and things are really kind of shifting, and the university systems seem to be something seems to be changing, and something seems to be a bit off. But I think what it is that what was hidden is being revealed, and when people see that, they think, oh, maybe that's not the right choice for me. I know for myself, during the years of craziness, I was online with my job, and when I was online with it, I realized like how meaningless it was. It's just like, anyone can do this. This is so meaningless. And I would walk outside, especially when they said not to walk outside. I would walk outside, and I would see all of, like, for example, construction workers, or I would see people operating beauty salons, and I think they can survive with this. No matter what happens, you're going to always need a builder. You're always going to need a builder to build something, and you're always, you want someone to cut your hair, or this sort of thing. And so I just thought, just causes you to reevaluate everything. What you thought of as important might not be as important. I think that's happening on a grand scale throughout our world. And so, and that is what I mean about the shifting frequencies, because we're doing it. It's not like someone else is like, controlling. We are going to destroy the third dimension matrix. No, it's us. We are the ones that are doing it, and it is us realizing all this stuff. Whatever we believe in, we create. So we are the ones that are dismantling the third dimension. No one else is there doing it for us. This is us. This is our belief. We are losing our belief in that system, and that's why it's falling away. That is how powerful we are. And that is what happened in those 3 years of craziness. I mean, it's been building up since I for who knows, since the beginning of time. So that's what I wanted to talk about. That and that's where we're at right now. So we've lost our faith in the system that we're in, and but we just don't know what's next because we have to create it. We're like, whoa, we've never done this before. I mean, we had the system and we were believing in it. Now what do we do? Hey, Kathy. All right. So yeah, I was just talking about limbo. What we were talking about last night about feeling like you're in limbo, like just like nothing seems to be going forward. You're just kind of stuck. And what my guides keep telling me, which is very frustrating, they're like, "You have to just wait. You just have to wait. There's nothing big you have to do. Don't go, you know, go off on these crazy ideas or plans that you have. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait." And it's the most frustrating thing to hear because it's like, no, tell me to do. I want to go somewhere. I want to do this thing. I'm gonna, but it's just wait. It's a difficult thing to do. But maybe that's the lesson. It's a lesson in waiting, and a lesson in knowing that waiting is also very important, especially when you are entering something very, very important. So it's kind of like relationships, right? Where you're in a relationship and then the relationship ends, and then you have to find another relationship really, really fast, and you don't honor yourself, and you just jump into whatever relationship presents itself, or a job, for example. If you're in a job and you lose your job and you think, oh, whatever, I just have to rush to find another job, and instead of just taking a step back and waiting. And maybe that's what we're being taught now, is our final lesson, that waiting is important. So Michael, you say, I actually enjoy the limbo, but I just needed that confirmation that it's okay. Yeah, true. And Kathy, you say, I watched that answer for you, Michael, again just now, about what it's best to do to waiting. And you say, we are in between the caterpillar and the butterfly, which feels like mush for the caterpillar. It does it. Yeah, just yeah, that's where we're at. And yeah, I guess, yeah, it's just about waiting, and it's okay. It's okay to wait. And it's a lesson for us. I mean, I think in my life, I have never really waited. I've always just tried to force things like, okay, next I got to do this. Well, this is happening. This is happening. I gotta make this thing or do this thing, but recently it's just like, yeah, I guess I just have to wait and see what happens. And yeah, so that's, yeah. Um, but yeah, I think the whole world is feeling it, especially the young people, when they're about to enter their adulthood, and they're just like, whoa, what have we gotten into here? What is this? What have you guys made? So yeah, and but that's what it is, and we are all, I think we're all working on it in our minds too, because we're all creating it as well, this new world. Um, and Michael, you say we are doing many great things in this community, though. Yeah, I agree. And that reminds me of one other thing I wanted to talk about is in my house. I've just been realizing it, since I meditate in the mornings, and I hear this low sound. It's like a low D on the piano. If I can play It's like that low note, and it's just like this. If you're not paying attention, you won't hear it. But like if you pay attention, you can hear it just like this roll, boom. And it sounds like some sort of machine. But I checked all the machines in the house, all the fans, and all the things that would have fans, exhaust fans, and it's not that. And so I have no idea what it was, and it's bothersome, right? Because when you're meditating, you're just like, oh, meditating, then boom, it's like, oh, come on. uh, but so I finally asked today. I asked, and Sanat Kamara came through, and he said, so this is very interesting, and this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to see if anyone else has this. It is a frequency that they are sending to lower the frequency. But since we are in this time when everything needs to be revealed, we can actually hear it. And it's not just me that's hearing it. Other people are hearing it too. So in this town, they're all hearing it. They're not really talking about it, but they're hearing it. And so this is the great reveal. This is the reveal of the frequency technology that they're using to lower the frequency. And that's what it sounds like. And what it is it's this low D sound, but there's a subliminal message attached to it. And so it's there to just kind of, yeah. So I think, and Kathy, you said, can we neutralize it with tuning forks or love? Yes. And also our awareness of it. So if we start talking about this, if we start, if people just say, hey, I hear that sound, you can't deny that that sound's happening. And then something has to happen because we're shining a light on it. And that's the whole point of the light worker, the shining the light on these things. So things are getting revealed, shine the light on it. And the more light that you shine on it, the more it has to be revealed. And if enough people see it, they say, well, we don't want this low frequency thing. Why would you want that? And then, of course, it has to stop because, you know. So, but I'm curious if other people have that or have heard something like that around them. Um, but yeah, so that's what I wanted to share about that. So maybe, yeah, in the pocket of peace today, we'll shine a light on the the frequencies that are coming up. I think it sounds like it's coming from underground, so it's very science fiction. Like this whole time, these whole 3 years. I mean, there's so many science fiction books that you could write about this past few years. Like this is like prime material. um, so yeah. So then I'm going to go into a channeling, and I'm going to ask them to tell us. Yeah. So just give us what's the message for today. We're all in limbo, and you know, do they have any pointers on how to dance better? Here we go. Greetings. We are that one that you know of as Mary Magdalene. And we are here to bring a message of love, a simple message that love is you, you are love, and everything around you is love. And the more that you are able to realize this, the more that you are able to, what we might say, speed up this transition time. This transition time is necessary for all of you in that sense, yes, that it is creating a sense of patience in all of you. And also, it is a time of creation, a time of inner creation. This is a time when you plant the seed, and the seed is still under the earth. But under the earth, there are many things happening. The sprout has happened, it is sprouting, but it is the transition period before it comes out through the earth, and when it penetrates the earth, when it comes out and you can actually see it. But right now, when you look at the ground, you don't see anything, you just see the dirt there. You say, what is happening? Nothing's happening, nothing's happening. But what is happening is the seed was planted and is planted, and the seed has sprouted. And that is the position that you are in now. You are in a time of nurturing, a time of watering yourself, keeping yourself hydrated, and keeping yourself nutritized, keeping you with enough nutrition. You need the minerals to help you to grow in this time. This is a very important time of growing for all of you. And so that is where you are at this moment. And that is why it can feel very confusing. And sometimes it feels like you are in the dark, because you are. But it is just the dirt, it is just the earth, it is the loving earth that is surrounding you, and it is giving you the nutrition that you need, the minerals that you need, and the water that you need in order for you to sprout into this beautiful new being that you will be. You are all growing into a new being, into a crystallized being. And that is the process that you are in at this moment. And in this new way of being, there's also a new way of creating. The act of manifestation is changing. Up until this point, you have been practicing with manifestation, but within your world, there has been a time delay. And sometimes the time delay was quite long, depending on your manifestation skills. But what the time that you're coming onto is one of direct, instant manifestation of anything that you think of. And with this instant manifestation, it's very, very important that you are in alignment with your heart, in alignment with your true self, in alignment with peace and with love. Because otherwise, what would you create? You would create chaos. And that is one of the things that there will be a short period of time when this comes online, when people will create much, much chaos. And this will be very, very short-lived time, but that will be when it comes on. And that is necessary for those who are not aware of this. They need to see it with their own eyes, and then they can start to shift and change the way that they think. And that is a very, very important part of for you, all of you light workers out there, because once this happens, they will search for some help on how to use their newfound skills and how to stop creating chaos. And that is where you stand. That is where you come in to help them and to guide them on how to stop creating chaos and how to create peace and heaven on earth. That is your job, you might say, in this transition. One of your many jobs in this transition. And this is part of just holding the light and holding the light to them to light up what it is that they are doing and show them how it works, and to show them how manifestation is not something to be afraid of. Manifestation is the skill that will help you to create this new world that you're all creating, this world that is built on your heart, built on what your heart wants. So this is the world of your wildest dreams, the world that you can create, the world that you can be in and feel the most amazing feelings of love and of peace, and to feel completely and utterly fulfilled. And so, this is the idea of heaven on earth. You're still in a body and you're still in a dimension, but you are able to connect directly with source energy. You're able to correct connect directly with your heart, and in this sense you're able to create such beautiful things. This is a golden age that you are entering into. You have been in what you have thought of as a bright age, as the end of all ages, but this was what you might call the dark ages. There is a time in your history you call the Dark Ages. That is not true. That time did not exist. You are in the Dark Ages now. And all it takes for you is to look outside and to how many people see how many people are happy around you, how many people are living their wildest dreams, how many people are satisfied, are at peace, are at full and utter peace. Very few. Yes, that is a dark time. But the time that you are entering now is the time when these shackles will be taken away, because you are changing your belief systems. You are understanding that all of the things that you were believing in weren't there to make you happy. They were there to keep you down, to keep you suppressed, to keep you powerless. But now is the time to reclaim your power, because you were never powerless, but you believed in powerlessness. And your belief is that strong that you created powerlessness for yourself. And that powerlessness made you unhappy, made you sad, made you struggle, made you do things that you don't want to do, made you talk with people that maybe you didn't want to talk with, made you join circles that you didn't want to join because you thought it was very important. All of these things that you had to do none of them. There is nothing that you need to do. Your happiness is always with you. You carry it around with you. Your peace is always with you. You carry it around with you, is your light. You don't need to search anywhere outside of you for what has always been inside of you. The world that you see outside is just a reflection. It's just things that you have created with your belief in powerlessness. But now is the time to reclaim your power and believe in how powerful you are and create heaven on earth. Where is it that you would like to be? What is it that you would like to be doing? Imagine this now. This is the time to create, to dream, to fantasize, because the more you create it, the better it will come. And once this restriction is lifted, this restriction on your manifestation, it will come immediately. Your dreams will automatically come before you, and you will find yourself living your dream life. So it's now is a time to start planning in your mind, to start creating that world, to creating the rooms and creating the spaces and creating the beaches and wherever it is that you want to be. This is the time to start creating it. We are Mary Magdalene. Mm, cool. Nice. A time of inner creation. Michael, you said, Jason, did you set out to learn channeling, or did it just sort of happen? I It's interesting. There was there's a guy named George Norrie. He's an American radio host, and I think it was called Coast to Coast AM. And I was listening to his broadcast for a while, and after a while, they started having channelers on there, and I at that time I was very much like skeptical of that. Oh, this is kind of woohoo stuff, and but slowly I started listening to more and more channelers, and then I found myself listening to so many different channelers. um, there was who was it? Amanda Ellis, and there was, of course, Tina Spalding, and I'm blanking on another name, but there was a woman. Oh, and Pamela Erlin, of course, and there was another woman whose son, Eric, her son passed away, and that she would call on all of these channelers to channel her son, and just seeing all of this stuff, I was so amazed with it, and I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. And so yeah, and but it took the time finally, when I think it was 2020, when finally we had more time, that I took a channeling course, and that was it. That I just started channeling. I just started practicing every day, and it didn't come easily at first. It took time. I had to practice, like practicing music. But yeah, it was something that I really wanted to do, and I guess it's similar with anything. If you want to do something, you'll find a way to do it. That's the key. And and you said I listened to Amanda Ellis too, and Eric as well, Kathy. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yes, Michael. Yeah, passionate. Yeah, if you're passionate, you'll find a way. I think that's the key with learning. Um, that's why, like, if you set out to learn something and you find you don't learn it, maybe you're not passionate about it enough about it, and maybe that means that your heart's not in it, and maybe so your heart's telling you, like, you don't need to learn this. So I At least for me, it's very hard for me to learn something that I'm not interested in. I have to struggle so much. But if something I love, I find everything about it and I learn everything, and so it's so much easier. Passion is so important. And passion is, yeah, that's your heart talking to you. Yeah. So if you're passionate about it, then that's it. Your heart's saying, go, go, go. um, Mike, you say, thank you for inspiring me. Yeah, thank you. Um, Karine, you say, I follow the same channelers. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just came in, almost out of nowhere, like, and they just, yeah, it was really cool to see that. It was amazing. And they were putting themselves out there. It was just so, yeah. I think in this time now, there are a lot more people doing that, so it's not as difficult. But I think when they came out, they must have gotten so much flack and so much, in the comments section must have been, yeah. Whew. So I mean, they're courageous people to be that public in that time. Um, so yeah, I even found I was in. Speaking of Amanda Ellis, I was in, what was it? In my town, and there's this kind of like artsy kind of part of the town, and I was walking around that town, and I walked into the shop that I didn't know what they sold. It was one of those shops where, like, what is this? But I think it was some sort of architecture. I don't know what it was. Who knows what it was? But they had Amanda Ellis, the sprays, and her cards there, and I thought, wow, what a strange place to see Amanda Ellis, like in the middle of Japan somewhere. So, um, yeah. So yeah. So that's my story. Kathy, you say, lull her sprays. Yeah, I got one of her sprays. I had the Metatron spray. It smelled really nice. It smelled like going to the beach when you were a kid. Like, they used to have the suntan used to have a special, like, a certain smell to it. So it was that smell. It's like real sunny, and I really like that stuff. Um, so yeah, so that's how, it was just a gradual process. And what happened for me was, actually, it started with Reiki. I started studying Reiki, and Tom Kenyon too was a big one, very big for me. I was listening to his music nonstop. I mean, it was just like that was the only music that would move me for the longest time. um, and so and then he was talking about Reiki, and then I realized that Reiki, I could just take a train from my house like 30 minutes to get to the place where it was created, and the guy whose mother trained with it's just, yeah, it's just right there. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just go study Reiki. And so with the Reiki, I think something shifted. when I was studying it. So something kind of shifted, and something my heart kind of opened up a bit. And then that was 2018, and then 2019, then 2020. I took the channeling course, and I've always been a meditator. I've always been ever since. Well, I started again when I was in 2012. When I was a kid, I was always meditating, but then I went through a period of time when I stopped. And I guess that was like my musical time, where I was very like practical. I have to be musical, and I have to study, and so I shut down all of that. But then, yeah, 2012, it kind of opened up again. I started doing so. Yeah, that's my story. Kathy, you said it took me a while to adjust to Tom's music, as I was so trained by commercial radio. Yeah. Yeah. With I used to have this group, full disclosure, right, called the Moonpillow Ensemble. When I was a kid, I created this alter ego, and his name was Jeremiah Moonpillow. And I even like signed him up for all these magazines so that like mail would come in his name and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I didn't have a lot of friends when I was a kid. So yeah, but Jeremiah Moonpillow was like my alter ego, and I was imagined that I could be like him. And because he was very kind of spiritual, and he's very free, he's kind of very hippie like, and I was very kind of studious and kind of I guess like that. And so yeah, I was thinking, oh, Moonpillow. I even dressed up like him for Halloween. And no one got it. People thought I was Austin Powers. It's like, I'm not Austin Powers, I'm Jeremiah Moonpillow. Don't you know Jeremiah Moonpillow? So in 2011, 2012, I created the Moonpillow Ensemble. So it's a three guitar ensemble, classical guitar ensemble, and it's all original music. And yeah, so we were doing shows, and we were getting good crowds. I mean, for all original music, for three classical guitars, that's a very niche genre. But yeah, we were getting fans, especially in the town that I live. This is like the hardest town to do anything in. I mean, there's such a conservative place. So for me to do like the Moonpillow Ensemble and to get crowds was just like, that was like fighting against the system. Anyway, so the Moonpillow Ensemble, and yeah, Michael, you say we should channel Jeremiah. Oh, that would be interesting. I've never done that before. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Um, but one other thing I wanted to say about the Moonpillow Ensemble is that I was experimenting when I was writing the music. I was experimenting in moving people. So a lot of music, for example, Broadway music, is very much kind of base level. It's sad, or it's angry, or it's happy. It's very easy to understand. There isn't a lot of subtle stuff that's going on in it. It's just, once you hear it, oh, this is sad, or oh, this is happy, oh, this is angry. But I wanted to experiment with um, touching different parts of your heart, moving you in different ways, and also kind of trance states. I was really interested in creating like music that could put you in a trance state, and also kind of move you in this way. Like, wow, I've never felt that way before. Well, what is this? This is new. And so I was experimenting with that. And so when I heard Tom Kenyon, I was like, oh, he's doing it. That's what I wanted to do. Because when you listen to it, it just resonates these weird parts of your body. And so it's just, yeah, wow, he's already doing it, and he's doing it much better than I was. So yeah, I was adjusting Kathy as well, I guess, by doing that slowly. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, Tom Kenyon, wow. So yeah. Kathy, you say, "Oh my God, you were one of the music experimentals in the ancient library." Yeah, probably, right? I think that's, yeah. I'm just remembering it, and Tom Kenyon was just the key to open that up. And it's something that I really want to start getting into more of, with the sound baths. Is actually, channeling, singing, channeling sound baths. And I'm still a little bit too shy to do anything too publicly now. I do stuff privately when no one's around, but yeah, I guess that's the next step. Um, but yeah, so Jeremiah Moonpillow. All right, let's do it. Let's just do that, and then we'll do into the pocket of peace. Let's channel Jeremiah Moonpillow. I have a feeling, though, it's interesting. He's very similar to Sanat Kumara, like similar energy. It's kind of like that wacky energy. But anyway, let's try it. Let's try it out. I've never done it before, so there we go. I'm gonna channel Jeremiah Moonpillow. Here we go. Hey, so yeah, we're Jeremiah. It's good to see all of you. Good to meet you. We're here. Yeah. So we are, and we have been, this being's alter ego in that sense. But more than an alter ego, what we are is a sort of guide. We're an in-between guide, you might say. We're just here to help him to align to who he should be. He is me. He is becoming more and more me. And so what I am is not necessarily a guide. I am a prototype, you might say, that he created. He created a blueprint because he knew that he would forget who he really was. He would forget his true self. He'd forget that he was as wacky as ever. And so we came in, and we were sort of an alter ego, sort of a guide. We're an in between. This is sort of a new process that he has embarked on. He created this alter ego so that he could understand what he will become, and he is becoming more and more like me. And so my necessity is I'm not really needed as much anymore. But it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. It was fun guiding him into different ways, and pulling him away from that conservative world that he got stuck in, and that crazy 3D world that he got lost in for a while. When he was younger, he was spot on. He was connected, but then something closed off. Everything just closed off. And that's when I decided to come in and start showing him what he could be, the way that he could be, that he doesn't have to do this classical music. He could be a singer. He could just be singing. He could be a folk singer. And that was his true goal, was to be a folk singer. The classical music stuff was him being betrayed by his the third dimension, you might say, finding that was what he had to do. But no, 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 I'm just here to tell him. I'm here to pull him away from all that stuff and say, no, 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 this is what you were meant to do. So I am a living blueprint, you might say. I'm a living blueprint that he is slowly becoming. And so that is what I'm here for. And so it is kind of a new paradigm. Many of you can create this if you'd like to, and many of you have. A lot of times when people have their imaginary friends, they are not imaginary. They are blueprints. They're blueprints. They are blueprints that have come alive to show you the message, to show you the pathway. And so that's what I am. I'm Jeremiah Moonpillow. I feel like I'm going to lose a lot of followers now, but that's fine. So yeah, there you go, Jeremiah Moonpillow. Phew. Okay, so that was really wacky. But yeah, that's an interesting idea. A blueprint that comes alive. Yeah. Um, Kathy's. He sounds like he has so much swagger. Yeah, he does. He's very like, extravagant, and he wears flare pants, and he wears like all kinds of funky costumes. Like he wears like the Chinese smoking jackets and all kind of, yeah. I often see him with those kind of like Buddy Holly glasses too, and he's just, yeah, he's wacky. But yeah, folk singer. Yeah, and that's actually was always my dream. But I just didn't know if that was practical. And so I loved music, and of course I love Chopin too, and so I decided and Bach. So I decided that was probably the safer path to go down. But if I was following the steps of Moonpill, I'd be just screw that. I'm just going to be singing on the street somewhere, because that's what makes me happy. So yeah, Michael, you say there's still time. Yeah, there's still time. There's still time. Let's just start doing it. It's I kind of like jump into it a bit, and then I kind of jump back out. Uh jump my dip my feet into it. But anyway, so wow, interesting channeling. Jeremiah Moonpillow. Yeah. There you go. I think he still gets mail back at my parents' house. I had him signed up to the Jewish Community Center, and he still gets messages from them. So I'm not Jewish, but the my friend was the lifeguard there, and he said, "Hey, they have a good pool, and it's cheap." So I used to use the Jewish Community Center's pool, and I even signed up Jeremiah Moonpillow. Maybe he's still swimming there. Uh, so Kathy, you say, I feel I might have an alter living ego blueprint hiding in there. Yeah. Kathy, you say he reads the mail in his underpants by the pool with sunnies. Yep. Yep. That sounds about right. Yeah. It's kind of, yeah, it's someone who does not care what people think. He just does what he, Michael, Jeremiah was arrested for tax fraud. Oh man, I even created a Facebook page for him, and I kind of used my face, but then I put this like huge like hippie kind of thing, and and he was carrying he was a what's the word a when you're arrested and you have to carry that you have to that sign that has the number, so that was the picture on it. Maybe I should just put it up. And Kathy says, sometimes I wonder if our alter egos hang out. Yeah, wouldn't that be funny? And they're just kind of like, I wonder when they're going to figure this stuff out. I mean, we can't just be like living blueprints forever, you know? And oh, that'd be funny. You see, like these times are like, it's story time. I mean, my goodness, all of this stuff could be amazing stories, right? You know. Ah, so, all right. So let's do the pocket of peace, and let's do the pocket of peace for the frequencies that there are generating. So the ones that I can hear here, and the ones that I'm sure are all over the world that are trying to lower the frequency. And let's do a pocket of peace that will to shine the light on them and to shine the love on them. And light and love are very powerful. So let's do that. And I brought my 137, my ohm fork. It says ohm. And the ohm frequency is 136.0.10, if you were wondering. So here we go. I'm gonna play this. So I'd like you guys to take a deep breath, 3 deep breaths, and we'll go into the pocket of peace. So here we go. All right. So I'd like you to imagine that you're surrounded by this mist, this really beautiful mist of unconditional love. It's surrounding you. And it just makes you relaxed and makes you realize that there's nothing you need to worry about, nothing you need to do or think about, that you're perfect the way you are. And then I'd like you to send this energy out into those frequency generators. The frequency generators are located all over the place, sometimes underneath the ground, sometimes above the ground. They're all over the place. And I would just imagine, just send that light to all of those places so that there's a giant that spotlight on all of these frequency generators that are trying to bring down the frequency. Just shine a big giant spotlight of unconditional love. There's no judgment. No need to judge it. Just see it as it is. But the spotlight is so bright. Spotlight is so bright. You can see it. And once you shine that spotlight, and it's the spotlight of unconditional love and acceptance, but it also means that it has to be seen. And it has been hidden for so long. And so imagine that it's seen, and imagine that all around your neighborhood, all of the people are starting to say, I can see that. What is that? Why? What is that sound? I don't like that sound. It's not making me feel very well. Huh? And you can imagine people start talking, more and more people are talking about it. And they're saying, I think it comes from here. And people start talking about it more and more. They put up videos, they put up posts, they start calling their local representatives, they start calling the electrical company. And this light is just shining through. The light is shining out so that everyone starts to see it. And then at one point it's on the local news. You see it on the news, and the newscasters have to report about it because we have put so much of our spotlight, of our loving love onto it. And because we see it and we see something that is not aligned with love. And so we are just shining our love to align it to love. And so we see these people on the news and they're talking about it and they're saying that this is what it is and that it appears that it is there to lower the frequency. And see then that all of these frequency generators are then changed so that the frequency is a positive frequency. You see, these devices are not just for negative frequencies. They can create any frequency. They're very, very well designed. They're beautifully designed. And so then they have to shift because we've put so much light on it that it has to shift to a positive energy. So now it's shifting to a positive energy. So people all around the town say, ah, those frequency generators, they're generating that positive energy. We really love this feeling. Since they've changed, we everything seems to be much, much lighter and everything seems to be moving in a much, much better way. You see, all of these things that were created, right, by to do these negative things, they can also do the flip side. They can also generate positive things. So there's no need to throw it away because it is still working and it works beautifully. So imagine then that because of our light, because of this light of unconditional love, because we are just light workers shining our light, and that is the superpower because that is the way to change things. We've just shown our light on this one thing and it has changed. We've seen the future of how it will change. And now people all over the world are just living in this higher frequency because that is how easy it is. That's how easy it is. We just use what we have. There's no need to reconstruct the whole world. Just use what we have already. And slowly, slowly, we can start to change the whole world. And so this is a pocket of peace that you can use to focus your light on anything that you see that seems to be out of alignment. And you can start to focus and realign it and shine enough light on it that it becomes exposed so much that it has to change and it has to turn to the light. Mm. Oh, cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. All right. Ah, yeah. So thank you guys for listening in. Oh my goodness, this is a long one today. I um so yeah, thank you for listening in and thanks for all the fun comments, amazing comments. Um Kathy, you say, do you channel when you're doing the pocket of peace? Yeah, I think I'm doing a little bit of chat. It kind of slips into channeling at times. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Yeah, I think I half go into it into channeling. Yeah. Interesting. That's a very interesting thing how that happens. Um, so yeah, so thank you guys very much for listening in. And yeah, so hope you guys are hopeful and I hope you have a wonderful day or night or morning or wherever it is. I know that by just channeling and just being with your energy, I feel so great. So thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Kareen. Thank you, everyone else. I really appreciate it. And oh, that's a cool emoji, Michael, the crescent moon. All right, guys. So, oh, by the way, I think we're reaching a what's the word? The limit on the channeling group. Um, so, yeah. So, but if you are interested, there's going to be the next one too. So, and like you say, bye, Jeremiah. Bye. Thank you, Jeremiah. Yeah, thanks, guys. Cheers.